Good evening and welcome to the Daily Roundup with Nina. I'm your host, Nina Katangana. Of course, as we mentioned yesterday, we're in Swakopmund this week. This is where we'll be bringing you the program from. I have to start with just a little apology to our viewers for beginning the show slightly late this evening. If you have been watching NBC One, or even if you have not, the Broadcasting and Digital Media Convention 2024 is taking place at the very venue where we are tonight, and therefore we're coming to you slightly late this evening. So we get right into our conversations for the sake of time. Now, Stanley Benjamin Similo, who is the Director General of the Namibia Broadcasting Corporation and also President of the Southern Africa Broadcasting Association, is a pivotal figure in the evolution of broadcasting on the continent of Africa. As the host of this 8th Broadcast and Digital Media Convention, he plays a crucial role, of course, in addressing the challenges as well as the opportunities presented by AI, that is artificial intelligence, and digital transformation in our country's media landscape. He now joins us this evening. Good evening and welcome, Mr. Similo.
Good evening, Nina, and thank you very much, and also good evening to the viewers.
Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, it's been a long day for you. I don't want to keep you too long, but I'm also eager to hear your thoughts on and your takeaways on, day one of the convention.
Yeah, no, the day, I think, started off very well. As you will know, that the opening was officiated by the Vice President of the Republic of Namibia, Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, where she spoke to us as broadcasters, also giving us some ideas about what they as politicians have in mind as leaders of our respective countries. Remember, SABA as a conglomerate is made out of 16 countries within SADC. So that naturally actually set the tone for us to actually chart the way in terms of how we should be starting. And then also we had our Deputy Minister of ICT, Honorable Modestus Amtse as well, and he also gave a word one or two in terms of what need to do. But post that process, we then converged then to start the business of the day, and we've had several presentations and discussions ranging from content creation, curation thereof, children's programs, and also understanding how the digital divide will play in terms of where we want to go to, and then highlighting the opportunities that are vested in aspects of us sort of like applying artificial intelligence, which is known as AI. There's a real good case to be made, but at the same time, we were also cautioned about how this thing can become a runaway type of occurrence in our lives. But all in all, so far, things are very positive. I was particularly touched by a presentation on children's programming. And there's a group that is producing this at MES, I think from Tanzania, if I'm not mistaken. And at this stage, they are producing that in English and in Kiswahili. So the adaptation thereof, I think, is open for us as well. So as NBC, we will be looking at that quite favorably as well, because what they do is they have an element that speak to how do you develop and educate the smaller child as well. So that, for me, from a Pan-Africanist perspective, is quite a good thing, which I believe as NBC we would want to be involved in.
They call the Ubongo
Yes,
children's program. That also
yeah.
stood out to me. That's why I remember the name
Yes.
so fondly. And speaking of, NBC trying to emulate what they're doing with Ubongo, I wanted to ask, there's of course an eclectic group of African leaders within the media landscape in this room and a part of this convention. When you look at what we're doing at the national broadcaster, the Namibia Broadcasting Corporation, and we benchmark, how are we faring against our peers within the region when it comes to the digital transformation and also the implementation of artificial intelligence into what we do?
Yeah, I think the NBC is doing fairly well within the confines of what we can afford. You will know that one of the things that we've done is that was to migrate from analog to digital,
right.
But that process then gets stalled, I think 2015 or so, because of a lack of funds. But in the interim, what has happened is that at least we could migrate from analog to a digital sort of signal, and as late as last year, I think September, October, we've been able to enhance the signal to be HD. If you now look at NBC 1 and NBC 2, they are full HD. And I think we also have good news, which I'm hoping to make the announcement within the next week or so, because there's something that we wanted. And I got news late last week that it has been granted, but I will want to wait for the right platform to actually make that announcement. And that in itself will catapult us as an entity into a future that really, really looks exciting.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Talk to us, Mr. Similo, about the importance of public service broadcasting in today's media environment.
No, it's very important, because the public broadcaster, what they do and what we do, we go to the areas that are not necessarily financially viable. I mean, if there are, let's say in a village, 10, 20, 50, 100 people staying there, for us it's not about what we can get commercially. It's for us to make sure that the people get connected. And where I also personally saw the impact and the importance of public broadcasting was during COVID. The NBC in this country was the only mass media platform that could continuously inform on a daily basis as to what was happening. And the major advantage that we had at the time was because of the language spread that we are having. Because if you look at our 11 radio stations and NBC 1 and 2, which were also all sort of focused on making sure that we inform, nobody could beat us on that score. It's only when those type of things happen that one would actually realize how important the aspect of who we are is. Yeah. And then in terms of the others, we've always also managed to grow our portfolio of programs. I mean, your own show. You will recall I called you and 3, 4 others, yes, and I said I want these programs. And I think I gave you, was it a month?
1 month, exactly.
And then within 2.5 weeks, you came with the concepts. Yes. And look now, if we look at your program as it stands, it has also become one of the most watched programs as well. And then you have in the community, Wheels of Justice, you name all of them. Mm-hmm. And of late, the one that we've brought to life is Namibia Connects as well. So there has been a real impetus in terms of what we would want to do. Same on the radio side as well. We created a similar venture as to Mukarop, the television series, but we've done this called Mulilo for radio programs. So, and I have also, by the way, I think 2 months back or so, given a task to the producers for both radio and television. So they are about to brief me, because we are, I think, middle of October, they need to come back and just update me. So the future for us is really, really, it's positive. I think we are in good space.
Yeah. Positive and in good space indeed. And when we speak about, you know, the digital transformation within the media landscape, making use of AI, it's obviously very exciting. But to get from point A to point B, of course, it's not without challenges. So what do you foresee those challenges in this digital transformation within media, broadcasting media, might be, not only for the NBC, but, you know, for Africa?
Look, by definition, public broadcasters are not independent entities that would have, let's say, funds in abundance. In most cases, we highly depend on the shareholder, which in our cases would be our governments. So if support at a financial level for us, in order to, if that support is not forthcoming, we will keep on lagging behind. So, but as I'm saying, I have seen that over the years, there's been great transformation. I think a couple of months back, I was in Angola, and it's amazing how the government of Angola has been supporting, particularly television side. They've built a new set of buildings for them, new studios, state of the art. They are busy now trying to do the same for radio as well. Now, I am saying, if all governments could have the same view, then we naturally will see a change in terms of what we need to do. NBC, in its own way, I think since 2020, we have seen quite a steady inflow from of capex, which is for capital expenditure, and that has allowed us, in the main, to be able to do most of the things that we see now that are there. And then, of course, I think the biggest mistake that we've been making, that we are still making, is not to tell the greatness in terms of where we are. And I think it's time now that we make noise for the smallest of
yes, indeed.
of achievements. But back to the conference, I think I'm happy with the day as it stands. It's quite a great variety of professionals that are here speaking and sharing their own experiences, and tomorrow will equally be a very engaging day as well. I mean, we just now at the end heard about archiving from analog to digital. NBC is also quite in the forefront regarding that as well. So very soon we will be in a position where our NBC Plus should start yielding results from a monetization perspective as well. So yes, one is looking forward, but we also tread very cautiously when doing these things.
Indeed, and I think I agree with you, I concur with you that the future of broadcasting in Africa indeed is bright.
Naturally.
We appreciate your time this evening. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very, very much.